solving multi-step equations when we have x on both sides of our equal sign. Alright, so our steps are a little bit different when solving this type of equation. Alright, so before we can get to our find a plus or minus or find, multiply, and divide, we have one step that we have to take care of on this special kind of equation. What we need to do before we can solve it is we need to get both of these x's on the same side of our equation. Alright? So this is our first step. Our first step is going to be identify the large and the small x on the equation, and after we identify our big and small, so 2x and 4x, our large one would be our 4x, and our small one would be our 2x, because 2 is smaller than 4. Once we identify them, we are going to move the small x to the side of the large x. And to do this, we are going to use addition or subtraction. Alright, so this is a lot like getting rid of an addition or subtraction in a single step equation. In that, if we have a positive number, we would subtract it to move it. If we have a negative number, we would add it to move it. Because what we're trying to do is cancel it on one side and move it to the other. So here, if we're going to move our small x to our big X, we have a positive 2x. So to cancel it all on this side, we would have a negative 2x. Alright? So when we do this, a lot of times we get confused and we say just minus 2, and then we leave the x. This whole 2x is one large piece. So when we subtract it, we are subtracting the whole large piece. We also get confused when we bring it over here. A lot of times we want to subtract our 2x from here as well as from our 6, but we can't do this. Our 6 does not have a variable and our 2 does. I can only subtract my x's from my x's, alright? So, if I subtract 2x from positive 2x, these will cancel and I get 0 x's. Do I need to write a 0x? No, because 0x tells us that there's no x's. Therefore, we don't have to write it. But we do have to bring down our positive 4. We also bring down our equal sign. 4x minus 2x leaves us with 2x, and our minus 6 comes down as well. Now we've gotten to a single step, or a multi-step equation where x is on one side. So we're going to go through our rules there. Our rule now, we revert back to our other rules, but now it's our second step, which is look for plus or minus on the side with x. And once we find it, we're going to cancel it by doing the opposite. Alright, so we look for our plus or minus on the side with x. 2x minus 6, so here's our plus or minus. And we're going to do the opposite, which is plus 6. What we do on one side, we do to the other. So, our 6's cancel out. 4 plus 6 is 10. Okay? We bring down our 2x and go to our next step, which is now our third step, which is look for a multiply or divide on the side with x. All right, so look for a multiply or divide on the side with x. And once we find it, again, we're going to cancel it using the opposite. Alright, so we're going to cancel it using the opposite. So we found a multiply. We're going to divide by the number we multiply by on both sides. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. 2 divided by 2 leaves us with 1 whole. So we cancel them and give us our x. So we found that 5 equals x, or x equals 5. Now, to test that we got that right, we can do it just like we always would. Instead of 2x, we would write 2 times 5, because we're going to plug our x value in where our x is, plus 4. So 2 times 5 plus 4. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. And on this side, we have 4x minus 6. 4 times 5, again, plugging in our value for x, minus 6. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 6 equals 14. So when we plug our value that we found in on both sides, we can see that they both equal 14, which tells us we got the correct answer. All right, now that's been solving an equation for x when x is on both sides. Hope you learned something. Appreciate it.